was just the element of surprise there. He couldn't really have reacted any differently, I feel. Unless you want to sort of debate that, but yeah. Or just, you know, type type to someone else.
Sorry, man.
It's alright. You know, I think I'm gonna do some pre-game beatboxing.
No worries, man. You have at it. I'm gonna turn the music down. You can take control.
Oh no, I'll do that pre-game, like when we're loading. Give him some hilarious things to just look and listen at. Currently up to 32. Very nice. I know my friend Mech Lord brought some people in to stalk me. Oh dear. So big shout out to Positive Fortress, that amazing TF2 clan, which I do believe we're now just going to be PlanetSide 2 people when that eventually gets released. But yeah, much love to all you Plus guys, because yeah, Gwigums loves you, especially Mech Lord. I don't really know what's sort of halting the game right now. I haven't really been watching all the chat, so what is going on?
I believe we're just picking our next player to send in and see what we can do against this wet towel, which shows the cheese still works.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I sort of, you know, I feel like going on a little bit of a spiel for a second here. I feel where we are with Wings of Liberty is sort of a really nice, calm and tight place where we all can enjoy a little bit of macro game. And then Heart of Swarm's going to come out and shit is going to be crazy. And I'm going to be so sad, you know, just because everything's new, there's nothing, you know, nothing's really set in stone and people are just going to be trying crazy shit. And I'm going to be so sad, because I sort of like the stage we're in. Like, you can still sort of invent your own things, but it's sort of based around, you know, the really solid stuff that's sort of, I don't know, been paved by everyone in the community to this point. But I definitely know that you're really excited for HOTS just because of the entire new metagame. Like, you're excited for it for the complete opposite reason. I'm, you know, a little upset for it coming around and becoming the thing.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan on things like keeping it stale. Like, the game to me feels very stale. Like, we can kind of predict very easily what builds are happening, and like I'm sure it got to a point like that in Brood War, but there were still very new and inventive ways that, or the utility of units in Brood War was drastically higher than the utility of everything that's used in Wings of Liberty. You had things like the medics and stuff could use the blinding ability. It was crazy, it was unique, but if you could blind a unit that was like, if you could blind a siege tank and it was put in siege mode, it had no utility, you know, like there were things like that that if the opportunity arose could completely drastically change the game. As in, well, Wings of Liberty doesn't have that. There are a lot of upgrades and abilities that just don't get used at all from either race, like things like corruption. You don't really see that get used too much. Maybe in like big battles it's like, oh god, I'll corrupt the big units, that's cool, you know, but like getting to corruptors and using them in any kind of utility earlier than that's kind of pointless. Changelings are pretty awesome. You know, Zerg's got like probably the best abilities that they use to get as most vision throughout all the maps. Changelings, creep spread, overlords, speed lords, fantastic. Protoss observers, that's all well and good. Their air, Protoss air is really crap, I feel.
It
really needs to get addressed. Because, like, say, you know, well, if a Zerg goes like completely air dominant, the only thing Protoss has is like toilet ship. That's it. This is mothership and funds. Like, you just corruptors in general will get armor on them quicker because, well, it's a whole new tech tree that kind of just coincides with the way Zerg work. It's just like hatchery tech, lair tech, just brute force, and then hive tech endgame, where it's just like Broodlord Corruptor army with queens. I don't know, the synergy that makes just... It's like, the game's just very deathball-y. Like, the chances of having more and more little skirmishes around the map kind of fighting for map dominance and expansions is very low. Compared to when you watched a Brood War game, you'd have, like, lurkers and small groups of marines running around corners of the map trying to take expansions and save them, and then, I don't know, things like that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And, yeah, there are plenty of upgrades that aren't really utilized. Like, the engineering bay has an upgrade for the bunkers to get an extra cargo space in them, but no one ever uses it.
Just because they become obsolete late game, I feel.
Like even early game, you ever seen anyone commit to 100 for an extra bunker space?
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, like, even early game, people are like, yeah, I can just have supply depots around my bunker and or pull SCVs and it's fine. I mean, it's the same with Brood War. If I remember correctly, there was a ton of things that weren't used or researched because, you know, they just became very useless. It's weird though, like, you know, Blizzard designed these games and they're like, yeah, these upgrades, and then, you know, the community has a go at it and they're like, yeah, they're not needed because of how everything else works. It's just interesting, but I totally agree with what you say about, you know, deathball-y and not having skirmishes around the map. If we want StarCraft 2 to not be deathball-y, I do believe at least a step in the right direction would be not completely, but redesigning Protoss. Because the way Protoss is designed is, like I've been saying for the past week, because I've been playing Terran, Protoss are just so very straight up. There is not many variations you can do on Protoss, because it's all sort of based around having these splash damage units, because your army, well, your main sort of gateway army just doesn't really function like without the splash.
Yeah, it was really interesting. My honest belief is the only way to fix StarCraft 2 is to redesign Protoss.
Yeah, I totally agree. And
well, if they'd like built on top of the units they had in Brood War, like they already got all the animations and everything made for them, because you can go into custom games and you can build lurkers, you can build defilers, you can build medics, but the units are never there at all.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, unless something really unique comes through the map orientation, then I feel that, yeah, there's something that's going to drastically happen. And like things like the watchtowers, that changes the game massively as well, because you don't have that element of surprise anymore. It's not, you can build a small army and you can move out with it and do damage because you might catch them macroing. It's, you build a small army, you move out, he's like, oh, he's moving out. Adds a defensive unit. Continues to macro. You're then behind, you know, there's no... The area to do, or the time to do damage is drastically decreased because of these huge... like, they just give so much sight, it's just stupid. I don't know why they introduced watchtowers. It was a cool little gimmicky thing to start off with, and then it just... I don't know. I didn't like it. It's changed the game, and not for the better.
I think what we were saying a couple days ago about just sort of expand, like maybe just adding on more tech trees so we can have huge, like just so many more different styles of play that you can play would just be sort of amazing to have if there was just, you know,
well, it just...
that available. But I feel like people would just sort of do the same strategies anyway because they work, and wouldn't really go off into the other playstyles unless they were like, yeah, I like how that works. Generally, it seems people just do what works. Yeah, they don't want to be fancy.
That would be fantastic for casual gamers, but the game still kind of leans in the direction of you screw up one engagement, you lose the entire battle.
Yeah, yeah.
And it wasn't like that before. It was a little more, you can lose a battle, but you can regain it by doing something inventive, or doing something...
Well, you know why, though. It's and this is so true. It's just because of just how much splash damage changes a battle so quickly. Like, you know, what was the splash damage in Brood War? It was like High Templar, Siege Tanks, and I think that was it. Oh wait, no, sorry. I think Lurkers did sort of line splash damage, but it was a bit weird.
Yeah, it was like it would target something and then shoot out linear towards it, and anything kind of caught in that kind of crossfire just got demolished.
Well, yeah, but I mean, with Brood War Splash, it was, you know, not ridiculous. Your whole army wasn't going to die straight away unless you sort of derped it into like a bunch of siege tanks or something. But especially in StarCraft 2, and we both know this now, me especially because I've been playing Terran and first thing Protoss, like you can lose so quickly. And something one of the Brood War players said actually is something else that's changed it dramatically is everything has a very, very clear counter, and they're hard counters as well. So yeah, it's hard to sort of work around that without having to, you know, go down those techs.
Gonna moderate this crap.
Oh dear, what? Well, finally, it looks like we're in a game. Finally. Alright, finally,
fantastic.
Here we are.
Kicking off.
Game number 3. Jesus Christ.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 3 between Ninth Legion and Invision. Now kicking off for you guys. We're gonna make some sick intros. Cool, when it really gets sort of situated in this. It'd be fantastic. Little cutscene like GOM.
Unfortunately, we don't have the production value, nor do we, I guess, have the motivation to sort of spend that time without being paid. No worries. Holy shit, we're finally in a game 3. I'm gonna kill someone because far out. That took way too long. Someone needs to be punished and spanked. But let's get straight on to the player intros. In the top right-hand corner, the man who cheesed Sydney, the Proxy Marauders, being a total dirty baller. His name is Wet Towel. Versing our Zerg buddy. He's going to be playing his first game of the night. Can he take down the Proxy Marauder dirty bullshit? Which definitely won't actually happen in this game, but we'll have to see. It's Editor and Chimp.
A little bit of aggression there because we lost, but you know, a win's a win. Proxy Marauders is a strategy. It was unfortunate that he couldn't scout that, but yeah, better luck next time. He did a fantastic first game. That's what I'm very proud of him.
In all honesty, I'm not actually that sour about it. I'm just a bit upset for Sydney because he just, you know, didn't quite get the scouting correctly.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate. But what can you do? Alright, it does look like Editor and Chimp is kind of fearing any kind of cheese. Likely, that's why I believe he's sending his Overlord out here to the natural. It wouldn't surprise me if he's likely to go hatch first. Excuse me, so it does look like it's going to be a 15 hatch, and that's why this Overlord is here to confirm any kind of sort of proxy bunkers if that kind of happens. He is sending out a drone scout as well, just to kind of double check, which is fantastic. And we do have a gas here early for a Wet Tower. This is very interesting. Maybe to look to go, I suppose, Hellion Expand. That could be interesting. Haven't seen that in a while. What do you think?
Well, I mean, yeah, it could be a Hellion Expand. It could be a 1-1-1. I'd actually be more excited for a 1-1-1, just because I feel like, you know, Hellions are so common now these days. Oh my god, is he going to take down the supply depot? No, everything is fine. Everything's okay. Yeah, no, I just feel that Hellions are just, you know, have been used so much and they're so standard by now that Zerg players are just, you know, going to be used to that shit. And look at that, yeah, like straight away, spawning pool and extractor going down. Wait, no, that's standard, never mind. He's always going to get speed early on just to deal with Hellions, and that's why I feel like a 1-1-1 would kind of maybe throw him off a little bit more. But he does, I mean, have this Overlord in place already, and look, factory going down, he's not going to see a second gas, and yeah, look, immediately pulls away, confident in the fact that it's not going to be a one-base all-in.
Alright, so we're leading up to almost 50 gas, likely to see this tech lab go down, and it does, so it is going to be a reactor to Hellion opening. Not too sure about the follow-up yet, but probably likely to see an expand come up after that. Editor and Chimp getting this gas, almost mined 100 to get speed for his Zerglings. Now going double queen, is adding on those 2 extra Zerglings to maybe take some